Live it, love it, lime it with Selena's Mexican Restaurant at the Village Gate. Come for the food, stay for the fun. Become a part of Selena's family. Selena's offers daily specials, happy hour at the bar, and catering, plus dietary menus for celiac, vegan, and vegetarian guests. When you're on the west side, grab a quick bite at the new Selena's Taqueria Grease, 745 Maiden Lane in the Tops Plaza. Find out more at selenas.com, SALENAS.com. What if you could create your own pizza, brick oven baked with unlimited veggies? Well, now you can at Create a Pizza, the only fast casual pizzeria in the city of Rochester. The dough is fresh. The sauce is homemade. Right now, you can try the Father Torch Lunch Special for just $5.99. Vegan meatball pizza with sexy cheese. Only at Create a Pizza, 766 Monroe Avenue across from the Speedway. What will you create at createapizza585.com? Jazzcast Pros.
Thank you for finally somebody dressing up for this role.
You got to channel your inner superhero, and it was like, wow, I'm going to a boss meeting. I have to be the most real, raw, authentic self that I can be. So what's up, y'all?
So you were in Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Wonder Woman first.
There was
Angelina.
That meme that was going around for a while was dress for the job you want. Mm-hmm. And they walked in with the Wonder Woman costume on. And that's the first thing I thought of when I saw you when I walked in. I was like, she's dressing for the job she wants.
I know. I think we have to go shopping, especially since it's Halloween time. I think it's probably a good opportunity for us to get some costumes.
Right?
Maybe we just do this.
Just tiaras. I think we should all have the Wonder Woman tiara.
Queens.
Yeah. I love it.
Hey ladies, do you own your own business or are you considering starting your own?
Are you craving connection and are ready to feel seen? It's time to get real about what it takes to make it as a woman business owner.
My name is Kelly Bush.
And I'm Kelly Metris.
And we're the hosts of Getting Real with Bossy, the podcast that unites and educates women business owners through real, raw, and honest conversations.
Today, we're interviewing Angelina Hilton from Pop Rock and Variant Adventures. And I think she's a good example of just doing it when it feels right.
Yep.
And going with your gut. So yeah, I'm excited to interview her today.
Me too.
Hey y'all, I'm Erica Sorbello and I'm the owner as well as the stylist at Gallery Salon, located at 4 Elton Street in the neighborhood of the Arts in Rochester, New York. We specialize in everything from lived-in hair color to vivid creations, haircuts, wedding hair and makeup, structured manicures, gel extensions, and the best nail art in the city. We work closely with Rochester artists and makers to carry an array of handmade goodies for you to shop from. Gallery Salon is proud to offer gender-neutral pricing, and we are a certified LGBTQ+ safe zone. Our space and staff are welcoming and down to earth. We know you'll be comfortable to come as you are and celebrate your individuality at Gallery Salon. You can find us at galleryhair.com and Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 585-271-8340, or better yet, swing by and meet us and see what we're about. Gallery Salon, located at 4 Elton Street in the neighborhood of the Arts in Rochester, New York.
Are we live?
We are live. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Real with Bossy. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. Guess what?
What?
I'm not tired today. I know. I think it's the first time I feel like I'm not.
I would say make it a t-shirt, but then we wouldn't be able to wear it every day.
That's true. But I am feeling, I'm feeling great today. I had therapy this morning. Ooh. That always helps. I got a good night's sleep. Work's going well. I love the fall. I hear it might snow soon. So all of those things make me very happy.
Are you kidding me?
I love it.
No.
I can't wait.
I love being in upstate New York. I don't even know if that's what we're called, Western New York, wherever it is that we live.
Or Finger Lakes.
I love where we live, A, because there's no giant bugs, and B, there's no hurricanes. But my favorite seasons are the 2 weeks that we get of spring and the 2 weeks we get of fall.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, the weather's perfect. And then it gets really, really hot. Or, oh, the weather's perfect. And then it snows.
Yep.
So my favorite are those 4 weeks of the entire year. And the rest of the year, I'm either trying to cool down or trying to warm up.
I love it. I can't wait. I cry when the first snowfall.
Are you?
I do. It brings me such joy.
I love you so much. So much.
Like I'll have to pull over. And the first day that all of the Christmas music comes on, Sirius Radio.
I turn it off.
Oh, it's like my fourth favorite day of the year.
You're not allowed to listen to Christmas music until after Thanksgiving.
I don't know if you remember at my wedding, I had Christmas music playing in August.
Oh my gosh, you are too much.
Yeah.
I love it. No, you just made me anxious. I was like,
I'm sorry.
Christmas?
No, it's really
Christmas?
lovely and warm. And
Not
so
even the weather. It's just how much I have to do for Christmas, right?
I know. Well, it's because you have 19 children.
Well, and we just
And a
keep
huge family.
opening businesses.
Yeah.
So-
All right. That.
Oh yeah, I'm opening a business next week.
Stop. Tell me
Yeah.
more.
The day we get back from the retreat, we're opening our taqueria in Greece. It's a quick service Selena's model. We probably won't institute the delivery services for like a week just to get the hang of things.
Mhm.
So yeah, we decided that there's never going to be a right time. So we just set a date.
I think that's a wonderful thing we should talk about more because there really is never a right time to open, to change, to pivot. That's why I said it in a funny voice. There's just never that right time. And I think so many people that
We'll call
want
it
to
growing.
grow and shift.
Yeah.
The grow shift.
Yeah.
So many people have great ideas for businesses and they just wait until everything is in place. And
Today we're interviewing Angelina Hilton from Pop Rock and Variant Adventures. And I think she's a good example of just doing it when it feels right.
Yep.
And going with your gut. So yeah, I'm excited to interview her today.
Me too.
All the things. How you
all the
doing? It's
things.
good to be here.
Yay.
Hi.
So we're here with Wonder Woman.
Also
It's a pretty big get. I know. It's incredible. We're so fortunate.
We'll take pictures and share them.
All the pictures.
All right. So we are here with Angelina Hilton. Who are you? What do you do? What do you own?
That's a heavy loaded question. When it comes time to talking about yourself, it gets, if you're not used to doing it, it can be a little uncomfortable. I work a lot behind the scenes, but
Pop Rock, Variant Adventures, God, Grit, and Grace, and everything else you've got your hands in.
my name is Angelina Marie Hilton. I am a wife, a mom, a woman in recovery. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus. And I also have a few businesses located in downtown Rochester. A couple of them you might know. Pop Rock, which is a pop culture cafe located in Parcel 5. And we also have Variant Ventures, which is a mission-driven marketing company helping startups.
And you say we, is that you and your husband?
My husband and I, yes, we are partners. And when it comes into our business, it's the visionary and the integrator. He has he has 100 different ideas, and then I help to navigate those ideas, and we pick stuff that we feel guided to work on, and then I help bring it to life.
I love that. I feel like I have a very similar
Me too.
partnership where one of us has to be like, either this can or can't work, or like, how is this going to work? One of us has to be like the idea person, and the other person's like, okay, well, what does that look like?
Right.
How do we make this work?
Is this legal?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely
Can we
those
make
really
it
big
legal?
questions.
Yeah, exactly.
We do. And for sure, people that might be familiar seeing my husband's face, Jason Hilton, he used to be the face of our company. And that was a lot due to the fact, I introduced myself as a wife and a mom first, because that has been my primary role for, the last 8 years. But now both children, I have an 8-year-old son, Elijah Hilton, and a little 4-year-old Ezra Grace, the face that runs the place. They're both in school now full time. And that has really blessed me with the opportunity to be, okay, who is this woman now? Who she has been behind the scenes. Who is she? What does she stand for? What does she look like? What has she learned? What does she bring to the table? Being able to sit here today has taken a long time and a lot of work. So I really appreciate y'all inviting me to have a seat at your table today.
I think it says something that this is the outfit you chose for all that work to come out the other side in full Wonder Woman.
Thank you very much.
I don't know that I'll ever see you differently.
I love it. Well, here we go, y'all.
I think the first time I ever met you was like at some kind of function, and you had this on, and I was like, "That's the most amazing costume!" But I didn't know who you were or like what you guys did. We were just like at a function, maybe at like Strong Museum or something, when they used to have like the superhero days.
So we had Super City Rochester, where again, my husband and I, and a group of just incredible folks within our community, we turned what people would conceive as a regular Comic-Con into like an unconventional Comic-Con, where we turned the city of Rochester into a super city, a multi-venue, multifunctional, and indoor-outdoor Comic-Con. And it was a lot of fun. And I remember we were at the Strong to do some promotion. And yes, I had just purchased this. So my husband and I have been together for 14 years, and this was just a couple years ago. And he's the pop culture king and the Comic-Con king. And I'm like, I will never be caught wearing anything. But he was like, you have to. This is the role. Like if you're gonna go out there. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna be the person that I want to channel and get out there, because if I'm going to represent, then again, who am I? And so during that time, it was Super City, and I got a Selena's t-shirt. But that's not where our story started with Selena's. I actually, way back when in 2008, I used to work for the Democrat and Chronicle and was in the Insider magazine. And I was in charge of all of the advertising on the east side of the river. And that included all restaurants, bars, nightclubs, festivals, anything that fell under hospitality. I got to party and have fun with. And Selena's was a client. And that was when your husband, I think, was like general manager at the time. Yep. And that's when I first was introduced to Marshall Street Bar and Grill. So we're going back, at least a decade right now. And it's very interesting how things come full circle, and being where these were the grounds that I used to go, Parkside Diner, which is right behind us. I would meet him, Jim Papa's, every week on like Monday mornings to get the ads in to be ran for Weekend Magazine that would come out on Thursdays. And here we are, I have a restaurant now. I'm not just selling and doing marketing for restaurants. I have one. We have the knowledge of being on both sides of the counter, which is fantastic. We're still learning. We have to be surrounded by people that can teach us. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I feel like right now I am so privileged to be among these two women here that are just so instrumental in propelling women forward and allowing them to grow in their gifts.
You made me cry. I'm not the crier.
I know.
Here we go. So,
okay. So, all right. So
before Kelly starts crying, let's focus.
I'm not the crier.
No.
Before we start or go any further, let's start with your first business. Was that your first business, Pop Rock?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've been a self-starter for a long time. I think before I graduated college, I filed my first DBA. AM advertising, and I focused on freelancing for people, again, startups, other people in college who wanted to start their own businesses. I designed logos. I'd help get plans together. So this self-starter, it is a mindset. When we talk about business ownership, I have taken ownership of every position I've ever held, whether that was, bussing tables at my first job when I was 14 years old, to running the cash register at Target at 16, and then going to college and owning that because I wanted to earn the best grade that I could, learn what I could, experience what I could, get involved in everything that I could. And then I wanted to do things my way. When we talk about Bossy, which I love. I used to be called Bossy when I was little, and now people just call me Boss, which I feel like I've earned that. I've earned that title. I've earned this crown that I am put out, that is on my head right now, and it comes with having this intrinsic desire to learn, to grow, and then when you've been poured into so much, having your cup full enough to start pouring out into others. And so I felt like I was ready for that in college. And that's how I met my husband. I mean, I didn't really meet him that way. We started out having more of we've always had this very interesting relationship. He would say, "Oh, I think that you're in love with my mind." And I love the way that you think, and I want to bring your ideas to life. But he had brought me into his company at the time to help him with his website design and logo redesign and those types of things. And then he captured my heart through his love and passion of food and cooking for others. And so this partnership of serving our community through food and serving them with, this joy and this passion really stems from what really brought him and I together in the first place.
And that's where Pop Rock came from?
Yeah, well, at Pop Rock, I walked into his house on our first date, and it was just surrounded by comics, collectibles, toys, art. Our first date was him cooking me chicken artichoke French, and there was Motown remix in the background, and the Nintendo Wii was on. So we had video games, you get pop culture, you've got great music, you've got incredible food, and he introduces to me a different world through food. And that also was really transformative in how I was able to operate within the city, working with the different restaurants and having that desire to know more and travel around the world and learn different cultures through food and what that does by breaking boundaries, by breaking bread. So that, yes, in the very, very beginning, he had shared with me, someday I want to have a restaurant. And over the years, we'd look around going up and down East Avenue, having ideas about food trucks or this and that, while always being in the service of others, working within the restaurant industry. I was bartending out at the filling station out in Webster while he was working it's by the Eagle Vale, nice, there was and it turned into a really nice one. He managed that for a while, and this wanting to put this stuff into action, and then having this opportunity, we got to do it in 2018. And so Pop Rock was birthed in 2017.
So fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When it first opened, we were all just like, what?
Yeah, we had a couple meetings there.
Oh, yeah.
With the restaurant association, too.
It was so different.
Mm-hmm.
It is so different. And you guys have my outsider view from where you guys started to where you guys are now. And then hearing all of these stories that you've told so far, it all makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys seem to have navigated, okay, we want to open this place, but now that it's open, we want to make sure that we're still using our core values. And we talk about that a lot, of how hard it is sometimes when it comes to the bottom line to keep those core values in place, and the stresses of owning a business and keeping that in the forefront is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole nother level of business ownership that not everyone puts at the forefront, but when it is important to you, it's really difficult sometimes. So you guys closed your doors during COVID.
Temporarily, yes.
And is that when you started Varied Adventures? Because that's when I found out.
Yeah, that's when it was like, okay, how are we going to turn this very difficult, challenging time into a way that we can share the story in a way that helps to inspire others. And so it started out as our storytelling platform, Variant Adventures. And now it's turned into this is the platform in which I believed I was told I was going to make 5 years before this. And we talk about core values. And it was at that time, 5 years before that, when I first learned about what core values were. And at that time, I was challenged to write, what does your life look like 5 years from now? And this is in 2016. So we're coming into 2021 and or 2020 and 2021. And it looked like, okay, I will have 2 kids. We will be traveling around the world. We'll have a platform that's sharing what we're doing with our lives and what the impact that we're making. And it will be used to raise funds in order for us to be able to go out into the world, into those hard to reach places, because we have been equipped to do such a thing. And then they introduced core values by, it was in this corporate environment. So they were really trying to reorganize the culture and make it more of instead of a top-down culture, more of a bottom-up, where everybody had this autonomy. And that gave me the ability to be like, okay, I can create my own position. They gave me that space to do that. So again, this ownership. And then my husband asked me to come and work with him. And so that's where I started working as marketing director for Hilton Advisory, which was a investor marketing firm. And that's when we also founded Pop Rock in 2017 as a pop-up comic and collectible shop at the Toys and the Village, the Village Gate and those types of things. And we had an office. in that office, we had everything all displayed, and he was going out getting Monster energy drinks, and people are coming in and out, and we were in this position. Okay, what are we going to do with it? And that's when we started looking around for this space for 2018.
The Union Tavern is a beautifully restored building with a rich history and views of Lake Ontario. Featuring New England favorites and hearty comfort food, everyone will have a favorite dish. From large groups to intimate dinners, there's plenty of space to celebrate special occasions. Come visit us at 4565 Culver Road, right across from the Jackrabbit.
Live it, love it, lime it with Selena's Mexican restaurant located in the Village Gate. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner. Dine on delicious homemade recipes while catching up with your favorite staff. There is a happy hour every day at the bar. And don't forget that kids eat free on Wednesdays with the purchase of an adult meal. And remember, you can't make everyone happy. You are not a taco.
And then I don't want to go into all of that. We aligned ourselves with some challenging people that didn't share in our values of fun, creativity, community, and safety. And so standing for those values and making sure that, everything that we've invested thus far stays protected, and that what the community has invested so far stays protected. What do we do? And so we went through some difficult times separating. And then we had a direct competitor move in across the street, which was also challenging, and they came under attack. And so sticking up for the core values again of fun, community, creativity, and safety, how are we going to set an example? And so my husband and I took a stand publicly with them to share that we weren't going to tolerate that kind of behavior. And that also, folks didn't like some of that. And so that also caused a division. And then I came into a leadership role in the beginning of 2020. And that's when I learned, okay, we need to put in what's called traction. And that is making sure that everybody has a specific role, that all of their roles are clearly identified, that everybody has accountability. And so that's when we started to grow our team and bring in employees. And that was like, wow, okay, so we're not just working for ourselves anymore. Like now we have this huge level of responsibility for employees, and that we grew really fast. And things started moving really quickly. Again, this traction, this entrepreneur operating system of having traction. And I can go through all of that because that's really what's helping me in my Variant Ventures and helping other folks is understanding, what your mission is, what your values are, what your 10-year picture is, and what your 3-year plan is, and then what the year is going to look like, and breaking that down into quarterly goals and making sure your accountability chart is filled with the right people in the right seats, and then using that to propel you forward. And that's been really transformative for our businesses and also for those that we've been working with.
So you're still doing Variant Adventures, only now you're not traveling.
Right. It's more the Variant Adventures. It has grown more to just be the storytelling platform in the different areas of our lives. So we have business, we have faith, we have culture, we have service. When we look at our life and we're layered in all these different things, what is it that we're learning with folks, and using it to tell stories and what we're learning in order to share with it and build relationships with others. And so that's I call it more of a lifestyle blog. It's not the primary focus in which I'm doing anymore. I also have a blog called thisismom.com.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it brings in stories for motherhood and matriarchs. And my intention with that is to build that into a tangible product of stories from women and strong, influential women in our lives and the stories that they have to share. So it's a lot of different stuff going on.
Yeah, it is a lot. And now you're in Parcel 5, which, knowing what you do now with your business, I don't know that you would have been even able to achieve that in your previous location. So I feel like this is, for all that you went through, which is horrible, I feel like it got you to a place where you guys can really do what it is you set out to do with your business?
I think when we talk about mission, and so my husband and I put God at the top of our business. We say he's the owner, he's in charge. My husband and I wake up before the kids every morning, and it's taken a real long time to get to that point. And we open our day up in different devotions. One of them is an opportunity for our own personal relationships with God. Then there's one for our relationship in our marriage. And then there's one for relationship in our recovery. And we ask for the guidance and the direction. Like, what is it that we're supposed to do today? How can we pour out into others? And, when we feel that he is speaking to us and we surrender to the things that he's saying, I feel that has really transformed the way that we have lived our lives, and especially in the last year. And by being intentional, putting out into the universe, I do believe that you can manifest things by doing that. For us, it's our relationship with God, but for others, it might look a little bit different. But putting it out there and then asking, okay, what is it like? Surrendering to the process. What is it that you want me to do? When you hear that little voice that says, say something to that person, say hello or smile or, give away your services for free, and then give me the space to multiply. And when we do that, it's really been incredible. And that's what a lot of this book is about, God, Grit, and Grace. It has been that process of not believing, not accepting Jesus, and going into that being the first 28 years of my life, and then being baptized, and then going through the whole process of being born again. What does that look like? What is God's voice versus my own voice versus the enemy's? What happens when I go this way and I fall on my face, or, my brother dies, or my relationship with my husband is gonna end in divorce, or my business is going to die, or, all of these things. And then how do you surrender and be able to move forward with it? And so this has been that whole process.
So you're pointing to something that people can't see that we haven't talked about yet. So I wish I had it. Where's our YouTube channel? You brought a book, God, Grit, and Grace, written by Angelina Marie Hilton. So you wrote a book in the middle of all this?
In 2021. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're a doer. This is amazing. this is my first time seeing it.
Kelly I got to see it before.
I was late coming in today, so I didn't get to look at this yet. This is amazing. When are you looking to publish this?
So right now I am in the process of getting things like the bio and public appearances and pre-orders in at the moment. And in December, it's going into an editor's hand. If you open that up, that's the promo copy. It's a rough draft. It's as edited as I could get it to. And now it needs to go to professional, and then it drops in 2023.
This is amazing. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine, with everything you just said, having the time to write all these words.
So we talk about it all the time. Like, we got to write a book. We got to do these things. But
so let me tell you about Ebony Nicole Smith. She is an author and a publishing engineer, and she had this thing called the Bold Writers Challenge in 2021, where she challenged us to write a book within 31 days. And there was time that was set aside every single day. And at that time, it was during July of 2021. I had 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening every day for 31 days to get the book written. And so we would check in, we'd open with prayer, we'd get into a lesson if need be, because, you can't just get in and just start writing. Like, there's a whole process to getting what's an outline and what is a memoir and how do you tell your story, and then what goes into an introduction. And so she helped to navigate that whole process. And so I was able to complete my first draft in 24 days. Whew. I documented the whole thing. I have it on my Variant Adventures YouTube. The links are a little private because I was like, maybe I'll make a documentary out of this. So they have to be specially requested if you want to see them. But I'm starting to drop them now, because now I've also recorded the process, because I'm in that same process again, currently almost through with it. The Bold Writers Challenge Part 2 for me. And I took my first draft that I had handwritten edits in and have edited it, and then put it up designed my covers. I have 2 covers here, trying to figure out which one I wanted. And then
they're both gorgeous.
Put the promo copy together, and now I have this, and she's taking it off in my hands in December, and then we're going to be having it hopefully in stores. I mean, we have a bookstore. We have the Pop Rock is still,
Right.
we still offer comic books and graphic novels and all that good stuff. So maybe we'll be the first
Congratulations.
distribution center.
How does that feel? Like when you got to the last page and you were like, I'm done. How did that feel?
It was hard. Doing something like this, there were days when we would come in and we would either be really happy and joyful, or there were times when it was like bawling our eyes out because it's a process, and you're bearing your heart and soul into a memoir, having to relive some things that maybe hadn't been addressed before. Recovery, I shared I'm a woman in recovery. I just got my 6-year coin last week.
And put a giant applause.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And the recovery is like hurts, habits, and hangups. And if you're not equipped with the tools to be able to go back to some of those traumatic times, to be able to get you through it, if you're not equipped, it can be exhausting. So it was really awesome to have an accountability partner. And that's really what she brings to the table, is like not just this wealth of knowledge on how to get this done, but she holds you accountable too. And this is the product of it. And it's really beautiful. It really is good. If you go to my Facebook or my Instagram, you can see the moment in which she got to hold the book for the first time and the huge binder in which it started by putting all the pages together and then bringing it down into story and then putting it into an actual book format. It's a process. It was a process and it's progress. And I'm so excited because it allows me to go out and I feel like I have a purpose.
Well, I think you had a purpose before this.
Yeah.
But
we got to sharing our stories. And it's not one thing, because we are just such multifaceted people and we wear a bunch of different hats.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what makes this really beautiful is it gives us tools in different seasons and different areas of our lives to relate to different people and meet people where they're at. And I think that that's really important.
I think more people need to do that. I think that social media has kind of killed that. Not that we were ever super great at it, at understanding where people are at, but now that there's this like false narrative of people's lives, like people expect something else out of others that's not there, or assume things from others before they actually know what's going on.
Right.
Because that's what they see on their phones, instead of just being like, this is where you are and this is where I am and they're not the same place and that's okay.
Right.
And let's learn about each other.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to understand to empathize.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ra. Yes, I am the host of Father Torch. I would like to take this time to invite you in my discussions on very, very important topics of being a Black and brown father in today's society. Being a parent, the other parent, we face trials and tribulations too. We have worries, we have feelings. Here at Father Torch, we promote the advocacy of being the dad you wish you had. Join me at fathertorch.com.
So where is Pop Rock today?
So Pop Rock today is down around the corner from our previous location off East Avenue. We are located at 45 Euclid Street, right in Parcel 5, right in the heart of downtown. What an amazing, we open up our doors and it's like I feel like we can just breathe. We're breathing life that we're getting breathed into, and it's like we get to pour out. I say that we used to be on a major artery into the city and now we're right in the heart, which really gives us an opportunity and a responsibility to serve our community in a way that's different than what's been done before. What a blessing this is to have this opportunity to do this. And so we have a lot of different things going on with Pop Rock. We do a free lunch Friday on the last Friday of the month.
Lunch Friday.
And that's been going on since April.
So tell me about Free Lunch Friday.
We partner with a guest chef. We partner with local organizations that help to donate food, and the commissary donates their space for us to introduce these folks. And we all work together to create this amazing meal. And from noon to 1 on the fourth Friday, we serve the community lunch for free. And the challenge is that the chef gets the ingredients 1 week ahead of time. So they get to try to figure out what they're going to make with it. And then,
so they just have whatever's done. Like, this is the food we got. You have to make something that's kind of fun, though.
It's
and
the challenge. Yeah,
like
it's a challenge, and that stems from when we were in a dark season of our lives where we were, we had a really big need. We were serving out of the Father's Heart Ministry, and that's a mobile food truck, and they go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday into the community around the city, serving hot meals, free groceries, clothes, and a word. And so they poured into us and helped us out. And when we were able to start serving full time again, we said that we wanted to make sure that we were serving our community in a way that was different. We wanted to give back. We wanted to do it in a way that, again, broke down these barriers, broke down these boundaries. Like, we wanted Jerry that's sleeping on the bench to be able to enjoy the exact same meal right next to Jerry, the CEO, in the penthouse, at the same table, the same meal, the same kind of dignified, the same exceptional, delicious freaking meal. Like, these are so good. And there's like this different level of gratitude. There's the day-to-day grind when you have sales goals to make, and how are you going to, if you have to come in and you have to trim a little bit here and there, for your finances. But then when your community can come around and you can be able to really serve from the heart and not have to worry about, where your food's going to come from or how much it's going to cost. Like, it's so fulfilling. And I believe that it is helping our community in so many different ways. Like, if you don't have to worry about where your meal is going to come from as a person who is in need or has to find food for their family, then you can use that time to be able to focus on other things. And there are so many people that have that need that we just aren't really aware of. We talk about what we hide behind on social media, but nobody would know that, while we're out serving and feeding communities, we're barely able to even feed ourselves, and that's the reality. And so, when we surrender to what we feel God is saying to us, it just really has been able to pour in so we can pour back out.
You pour out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pouring out, pouring out, pouring out. You're pouring out into the community. You're pouring out in your relationship. You're pouring out to meet God. You're pouring out to make your financial goals and keep the restaurant and businesses open because, hey, you got to pay bills. You're
and you have a family.
To your children and the business that is having a household, whether you have kids or not, right? Like, you still have to get everything done. Do you ever find that you need help pouring in?
All the time. I started therapy over a year ago. Praise God for therapy and celebrate recovery, being in recovery, having accountability partners and sponsors, and being surrounded. I prayed. I remember when you first started coming into Pop Rock, I remember sitting down and then you invited me to something I forgot. And I was like, I need a mentor. I need a woman, a strong woman who can teach me the ropes on how to run a fucking restaurant.
You can swear.
You're okay. How to run a restaurant here, because I've worked in them and I've done all this other stuff. But now we've got people. We have again, it's a different level of responsibility, and it's a different shift. And I prayed, I reached out to organizations like SCORE. I'm also looking for someone who is a minority, a woman minority, to help me as an Indigenous woman to navigate what that's also like and what's available. And, but that doesn't really exist. And so I have been blessed by being surrounded by incredibly strong women and women business owners, women entrepreneurs that in different areas of my life that have truly helped me to navigate this season, from having panic attacks before leaving the house to being able to sit here at the table with you today. Because I'll tell you what, when you had your anniversary party, I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't even make it out my front door. I was ready to go. I was dressed, I was ready, and I was excited. And I had just gotten through taking off my mask, and from, with how difficult that was to get through that, to to being here now. And I have to give people shout outs for that. Ruby Rodriguez from Moxie Image Consulting in Padua and Wino. She really helped me to peel away the different layers of, you know, you have your mask on your social media and you're not posting, and you want to have less than 50 people that you're connected to being able to be the most authentic woman that God has called you to be, and having that confidence to step out into the world as your most authentic self. And that took a whole year. So I had her by my side coaching me, Ebony Nicole Smith here with God, Grit, and Grace, you know, helping me to peel back and start talking to the little Angelina, and what really was holding her back from having this relationship and being the woman that God has called her to be. And we're still working together now. You know, my mom, she's been an incredible support and just an influence in just watching her just be so selfless in pouring into her family and putting her family as a priority, making sure that, you know, we're all taken care of so that we can, again, go out and meet other people where they're at.
So you have a lot of people that are helping pour in.
Yes.
How do you pour into your own cup?
Self-care.
Yeah. Everybody's looks different, right? Like mine, sometimes I just lay on my living room floor. And then my kids will walk in the house and be like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, mom's just laying on the floor. Don't talk to her.
I make sure to make my doctor appointments. I make sure to go to therapy.
That's important.
I just completed a grief group, which was 3 months every week, starting off the Monday, getting into all of the hard stuff that, you know, you just push down. And then before that was anxiety for 3 months. Before that was cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's been a process. And that's really, and I like to get my nails done. That helps me to feel powerful. I talk with my hands a lot. You know, it's making sure that I go every 6 weeks is really important to me.
I used to before COVID, I would get pedicures on the regular, and I didn't really care what my toes looked like, but no one really talked to me for an hour, and I got to sit in a massage chair.
There are times where I would go into work and I would go down to the basement where my office was and then scoot out the back door and go get a pedicure while they thought that I was at work. And it was my time just to myself. And I felt like I was
screwing it to the man.
Which was me.
Which was you.
Yeah, but it just was a nice moment for myself. But
it's so good, too, to have your feet taken care of. We are on our feet, putting in our steps, putting in the miles, and we've got to take care of our feet. We're wearing different hats and we're wearing different shoes. And, you know, grounding too is super important, being barefoot and being out there. And so I had the name Princess Blackfoot for a long time, and then my daughter was born. So now I'm Queen Blackfoot, but I need to make sure that I go and get those feet cleaned. And
there is nothing better than just being my favorite week every year is we go to the mountains, and it's the only time my feet get tan because, and I always forget to sunscreen because it's not hot, but we're just outside and I don't wear shoes for like the whole week. And like, I have to remember to put shoes on to like go into the stores, but we're just barefoot for like a whole week because I don't have to do anything else. And it's just my favorite week. And we're just barefoot. And there's just nothing like it. Just not caring.
I would imagine another way you give back to yourself is doing the great work you do at Pop Rock and creating events. And I think that you have one coming up very soon.
Yes, thank you.
Can you tell us more about that?
So it's an incredible time to be Indigenous. We just celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day in Monroe County, and it was not a shared day. It was its own day, which went into legislation earlier this year. And it's a really big milestone. And I'm also involved in that effort and what that might look like moving forward for our community and our classrooms. And so when it comes to what the future of Rochester looks like, you know, we are all working towards a better community where we feel heard, where we feel seen. And being an Indigenous woman, trying to find somebody else to be able to look up to for that, I haven't been able to find it. So I feel there's this responsibility to take a step into that light. And so with that responsibility, for Native American Heritage Day, which is in November. That is the day after Thanksgiving. That is the fourth Friday of the month, which also happens to be our Free Lunch Friday and Chef Challenge. And so we are looking for an indigenous chef to come in to help us to be able to create bridges by introducing our community and those around us through food, and introduce them to the culture through serving authentic Native cuisine. And then the next day is Small Business Saturday, the shop local, shop small, with it being a retail day. I want to bring in Native American creatives. I'm calling us Native creatives. So this is the Native Made Market. And so on Saturday, the 26th, November 26th, we will have the Native Made Market, where we have several vendors who have already signed up to come in from different areas of the state to share what it is that they are creating. These, again, they are very small businesses. They're Native American businesses. So they get to share with the community on this day and help to bridge the gap by introducing the city of Rochester and the residents and the students and the commercial folks that are all around us in that area to the culture in a impactful and meaningful way. We're also bringing in folks to help to do some performances and some singing and dancing and storytelling, other folks in the community who are actively participating in the change to provide education and awareness. So it really is going to be an opportunity for Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities to come together and break bread over a very sensitive time. And so offering a time of healing and forgiveness and compassion, while also supporting, the people where this land that we are on belongs to.
So that's on Small Business Saturday,
November 26th.
And
yes.
What's the time frame?
From 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And that's right at Pop
Rock, yes.
How can the community get involved other than obviously attending and spreading and sharing the word, which I'm sure will be on your social media and all that?
Yes. So on poprochester.com under events, there is an event page where there is going to be some more updates. And then we do have a Native Made Facebook page where you can keep following along. But what I need now from our community are some sponsorships. I do have folks who want to come in and participate, but they have to commute over 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And when we're asking folks to do that, to participate, we need to compensate for the time. And it's not that I need some help. So I need some funding, financial contributions. I need a PA system. I can probably help with that. That would be great if you would love to be an in-kind sponsor to do that.
I'm a giant speaker.
We got a lot of
so that takes care of that, y'all.
There you go. So you ask, you receive.
Mm-hmm. Food, I want to make sure that we feed our vendors, our volunteers, our participants. I am looking for some volunteers. Security would be great. This is again a sensitive time. There could potentially be a lot of people, or there could be not. But my hope is that people will be able to smell the culture, be able to hear it, and in their high towers, and they can see it, and they can feel it with the music, and that it really just, again, it becomes this intimate experience, this seed that gets planted for what could potentially come next year. And my hope for that now, with everything that's going on, is that we do have a Native American festival, or we bring folks downtown and have a powwow, like a legit celebration. But that's the bigger picture. This year, we just want to plant the seed.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I feel so heavy in my heart that you started this entire portion of the conversation by saying that you had to be the person that you were looking for. Mm-hmm. It reminded me, Lizzo just made a quote about that. And they were like, what would you tell little Lizzo? And she was like, well, I'd tell her that if you want to see yourself on stage, you have to go be that person.
Right, exactly.
And it's so heavy, it's 2022. An Indigenous woman should be able to find mentors, people to help her that have similar experiences. And that's just so heavy.
It's been tough. Yeah, that is a heavy conversation because I have reached out and have introduced and have shared that story. But it's there's just these barriers to entry, whether it's, finances and you having to pay $1,200 in order upfront, not even on credit, in order to get the skills needed to be able to come out onto the stage, to be able to present yourself and speak and articulate the message in a way that it has grace and is impactful and is tactful. It's very difficult, asking somebody for a mentor and do you have any indigenous, and they say we have Hispanic and African American. We'd love to have more African American. And it's like, but I just said I need this, and trying to be like, okay, there's this, and I'm Italian American and Native American, and I do look more white than I do indigenous, or more Hispanic than I do indigenous. And it's not my fault. And that is why this fight is so important, to be able to come up, because if my son is not considered indigenous, but I am, and we have this opportunity in this day and age to change that in order to save our humanity. When we talk about extinction, it's for real. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the time that we're in. And so I think that there's this real opportunity to celebrate the culture, all of the amazing progress that we have made in just this very short amount of time. And there's this opportunity to, again, build bridges and educate in a way that is with grace and tact. And I think that opening up our doors at our spot, especially, it's more of a non-invasive. I love that we have museums. I love that we have cultural centers. Those are excellent. But what's the challenge is trying to get folks who might not have the money, the transportation, or the age appropriate to be able to go into these places to learn. So if we can, again, open our doors to the community and invite folks in to have a seat at our table in a way in which we are breaking bread over these really big conversations, I think that that's really where it comes in, is coming from a place of love and building up relationships.
Angelina, you're amazing. And I'm going to go circle back to how we started this conversation, is that you deserve to be wearing that suit.
That's right.
You deserve to be wearing that suit every day.
Is there a way that people can, for your free lunch Fridays, where are you getting your ingredients from? Is that something that the community, now that they've heard your story and I'm sure are going to want to support you in any way they can, is that something that you take donations in for that?
Yes, we do. So, this last month we had Rise, the Wellbeing Center in downtown. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but they offered to go out scouting, and they have taken on it to get the ingredients for this month, and they have it sitting. I can't say what it is yet because we're not 1 week away. But yes, we will take donations for food, whomever has what. Next month in November, I would love to have, a farm that can bring in some organic food or something like that. So that way we can try to make, again, it the most authentic, traditional Native experience as possible, and also educate about food sovereignty and those types of things. We take donations. Again, we were taking it whatever's available, and then we tell the chef this is what's it. And then if any, have been financial contributions, which allows us to go out and get paper products and things like that to serve. Costs for overhead staff and that sort of thing, but.
And to do that, they go to your website?
They have, yeah. They've gone to our website. And usually when we have the event page up, there is a spot for donations. We will be putting the page up here, hopefully within the next couple of days. We're still scouting for a chef for this month. So,
and this month you're looking for a Native American chef, or is that for November?
For November.
For October.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Angelina, thank you for coming in today. You are inspiring, empowering. You are pouring out into so many cups, and I can't even imagine what your days look like, but let's tell everybody how to find you.
So I have Linktree that allows for the different ways to get in touch and also get involved with the different projects. I had that written down. It's right here. So it's Linktree, the linktr.ee / Angelina Marie Hilton, AngelinaMarihilton.
And that will link you to everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And probably a good thing to keep note of, because I feel like that's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
It's a tree. It's what it does. I love it.
It's made for people like you that have so much going on, and it's one place that you can go and learn about all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And God, in grace, we look forward to it being on the shelves. So you'll have to let us know when it's published.
Thank you.
And official. We'll take pictures.
Mm-hmm. And you'll come back, because I feel like this is just the very beginning.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'd love to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angelina, for coming out with us today and talking. Thank you to Jazzy and Jazzcast Pros.
Always.
For all the amazing things that you do for us, like making us sound smooth and not like we have a dog in the background. Follow us, find us, join us at bossyrock.com/join. Follow us on social at Bossy Rock. That's ROC. For those of you that aren't in the Rochester area, everything here ends in ROC. If you follow us and go to our website, you can keep track of what we're doing next. We've got a lot of fun things on the horizon.
Yeah, we've got our retreat. We'll recap what we've learned and talk to people that have attended and
find Angelina at Linktree,
linktr.ee/Angelina Marie Hilton. And we'll have that in the show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you don't have to memorize it right now.
Well,
I think you almost cried this time.
I almost cried twice, I think.
Yeah, that's usually my role.
That's like my third time doing these podcasts. We're going to have to start having tissues if I'm going to cry too.
I think so. There are so many amazing things about Angelina.
I love Angelina's passion, and you could tell if you were in the room for this that everything she said came from her soul.
The way she can just follow her faith and where that leads her is incredible and inspiring.
And it's gotten them so far. Their new space is amazing. The market that she's putting on, I can't wait for.
That's fantastic. And I think a lot of these things were inside of her when they were on East Avenue, but there's no way that space could have supported her brain and her passion and her heart. I think this is where they needed to be, as hard as it was to transition to get to where they are now. This is where she needs to be.
There's a book that I read on the regular called The Alchemist. Have you ever read it? And every once in a while, when I feel like my life just doesn't make sense and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing, I read The Alchemist, and I have a running joke with my cousin, because we both will tell each other, it sounds like you need to read The Alchemist again, that sometimes you just got to scrub toilets for a minute and then like things are going to work out. And I feel like that is not anything like what Angelina said, but that feeling of like, sometimes you just need to embrace where you're at and continue moving forward. And she just keeps continuing. And then she wrote a book. On the DL. I was like, wow, with everything she's got going on, she managed to write a book. I can't imagine.
Yeah, she's pretty incredible.
And recovery and working with your husband and
we didn't even
businesses.
Tackle about 10 things that I know. My list is still not even crossed off. So I look forward to having her back in. And quite honestly, we'll get a completely different interview in 6 months from now, because she will be on to something else that's amazing and fascinating.
Well, I can't wait to see what she's up to. Well, tune in next time for Getting Real with Bossy. We are excited to share another story with you, and we hope you like it. All right.
Be brave.
No, we'll try that again.
Be brave. You can leave this in if you want.
Be brave. Be bold. Be the boss.
Be brave. Be bold. Be the boss. See you soon.
To my brothers, are you working harder than usual? Do you find yourself stressed? Or you just simply need a rest? Where you can unwind and have an open discussion of well-being, self-care, or simply just being a man in today's world. Join me on November 12th at the Charleston House, 120 East Avenue, where you can take off that professional hat, have a sip or two, maybe a puff, cigar, of course. I'm your host, Ra, at the Father Torch podcast, where we advocate for the fathers mentally, physically, emotionally, Being a father is rough and it's hard, but it's even harder when you don't have self-care. So come on down to Charleston House, November 12th. Father Torch, be the dad you wish you had.